What will you be taking away?
I feel like, to some degree, my heart was pierced and sort of flowered, and so I'm sitting in a huge amount of love. So I know that there are a lot more things that I will have gotten from this because it's still all settling in. I feel like I can see myself more clearly, you know, and I can see the world more clearly, and it reinforces my desire to live life fully.
How was it to come here for the first time and meet the teacher and come into the container?
It's really hard to put words on that. I feel like coming here was a huge blessing. I feel like the universe, the one, moved all these forces to get me here so that I could sit in the presence of a being, Vamadeva, that is realized, fully realized, and to an extent that I can't even comprehend. But I'd been around sort of the block at my age, and I realize the value of sitting in the presence of a master of his caliber. And you know, that isn't even talking about the level of the teachings. You know, I mean, here I am, you know, at 72, and I can sit in the presence of this massively realized being who's a philosopher and a sage, and that is, boy, anyone should jump on that opportunity. I mean, it's over the top. And there is such grace and beauty in how the whole program was designed. It's so careful and so discerning, and I've done workshops myself. I realize that's not an easy thing to do, but every element in it felt like it was carefully considered and to just grow us in consciousness. There wasn't a piece that didn't fit that, and it all came together in this sort of a, I don't know, this energetic basket, you know, the container, the field. The field on this program was way over the top. Vamadeva has a massive transmission. I could feel it throughout the program. But then that wasn't alone. I was with all these really beautiful people who also were quite evolved. And it was like, here you have someone that's willing to do a collaboration with other people. So it was everyone's field, all the work in the meditations, and Vamadeva holding the larger container of it all. I thought it was massively transformative.
What did you experience in the meditations?
The form of the meditations is beautiful because it's so organic. You know, it's like nothing is superimposed on you. There's nothing that's demanded of you. What the invitation of the meditations is to relax and allow, and let let what wants to rise up, and sometimes that's quite surprising. But I feel sort of like a lot was unpacked, and for me, because I have a history of trauma, and I could sort of see how the organic intelligence of my own body was just taking me into the experiences that if I let myself just go with, which I was trying to, I could almost feel a release happening. And I used to be a psychotherapist, and I sort of got disenchanted with some of the sense of a pathological model. I worked inpatient psychology, or an inpatient hospital, and there's just only a sense of trusting the being that we really are to find what's needed to help us to unfold and live that.
How are the one-on-one interactions with the teacher? Were you able to ask any questions?
Yes, I did. And I'm sort of sitting with a little regret, because I asked a question that was pertinent to me. And on the very first night. And as the days unfolded, that unpacked it itself more. It was really about learning how to love. And so I sort of went into that process of learning how to love. And even today, Igor did a beautiful discourse on the process of love. That I'm getting full body chill when I think about it. So that sort of answered that question. But I had another question that I sat on too long, that I'm slightly haunted by. But that's okay too, because I realized that this is a being who's really tuned into everyone in the room. And that his attention is very careful and very compassionate. And I believe that he was picking up on where I was at anyway. And he was giving, just in his part of the transmission, me exactly what I needed and what I had the capacity to receive. So.
Were there any particular highlights for you in the past 10 days?
Now I may cry. There was one meditation, it was breathing into the heart, where my experience was of the heart's door opening, and I was taken into a vision that unfolded itself, that felt like a direct experience of the Great Mother, and how we're being held in this world, whether I would see, I had vignettes of whether it was a person that was dying in the streets of India, or a baby being born, or the fecundity of the ocean, or the war in the Ukraine. It was just one after another. And my whole experience was that I was in a shared heart with a mother, and her heart didn't judge any of those experiences. And she was willing to allow her heart to be broken open over and over again. And I'm left with that. That changed me. I can't view, how the mind wants to impose judgments on people's behavior or situations. I can't view that in the same way. You know, I can't as easily go into judgment. It was stunning.